This might just be my favorite time of year. I love unboxing things. I love opening things on camera. So I think it's time for a birthday book haul. Hello friends, and welcome to a super chill unboxing, and I promise I will keep this as chill as humanly possible. I have been accumulating packages for all of October. October was my birthday month and I did buy things, I did receive things. So I just thought it would be really nice to keep the tradition going because every year I do upload a birthday book haul and save all of those packages so that I could open them with you on camera. Today I'm a little bit anxious. Sil is getting spayed today, so I'm hoping that opening packages bright and early in the morning, it's literally 7 a.m. I am hoping this sets off the day on a really good note. So let's open some packages. I'm just gonna grab this one. Let us open our very first package. I'm so nervous. Ooh, wait, I have no idea what half of these are. Wait, where's the gift note? Amazon needs to do better with their packaging. Like, what is this? And we're starting off strong with Court of the Vampire King by Katie Robert, and the person responsible for this is Simone. Simone says, "Happy birthday, Belle. I hear this mudding starts mudding from the first chapter." She knows me. To the last, so good luck to your eyes, which may need some bleach after this. No. We embrace the smut very strongly in this household. We know this. But I did not know that Katie Robert had released a new book, and as you guys know, I have a rocky history with Miss Robert, but I have to admit, it's the dedication that really got me. Let me read this to you very quickly. So everyone who is Team Damon, Team Spike, and far too into Dmitry Belikov. And I think this one really is a recipe for success for me because we have our main character Mina. She is half human, half vampire, and she lives under the control of her father without really being able to escape either of the worlds she belongs in. And then she ends up meeting Malachi, who rules with an iron fist, but she ends up finding out that he is not as bad as people say he is. And that's honestly, I think, one of my favorite tropes is the heroine meeting the love interest and then realizing they were not all that people made them out to be, and then being completely different, and there being a great love story with all this mud. I just love it. I have to say, I'm a simple girl and it works for me every time. Second package. You guys will hear me say that I'm excited about everything and it's not a lie, but I'm so excited about this one. It's Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q Sutanto, which I believe is pushing on the cozy mystery side of things. For some reason, cozy mysteries are sort of intimidating for me. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I think having a cute cover like this really definitely helps towards picking it up faster, and I have heard really great things about this one. And this was sent by, oh wait, Ken's. No, I'm gonna cry. I didn't talk about this on the main channel, but my grandfather did pass away in October around my birthday, and Ken's just said a really beautiful note with this meant as a pick-me-up. This book seems very lighthearted and fun. Hopefully it can take your mind off of things. I opened this very late, but the kind words really do mean a lot. And the back of this says, what happens when you mix one accidental murder with 2,000 wedding guests? Oh wait, I love that. And then toss in a possible curse on 3 generations of an immigrant Chinese Indonesian family. You get 4 meddling Asian aunties coming to the rescue. I really love the premise of this, and I think what makes it so exciting really is the auntie side of it, because listen, if there is anybody who will step up to the plate every single time, son las tías, okay? Las tías will always step up, and I just think it'll make for a really entertaining time, so I'm really excited. I'm having a lot of fun tearing these apart, so we're just gonna go for another one. We've got a Stephen King book, which is not something I was expecting to receive, but I'm very excited nonetheless. This is the Halloween edition of Carrie, and honestly, there are very few Stephen King books I'm interested in reading. This is definitely one of them though. I love the Carrie musical. I know it's like super underrated, got a lot of bad reviews when it came out, especially when the revival came out. Not a lot of great reviews, but the musical is really good. It's got some really great music and some really great vocals. I've never watched Carrie like the original version, but I think the book will be quite interesting to dive into, and I didn't realize it was this short. But Nayeli says, happy spooky season! Insert Bibble fire emoji. But thank you so much for sending this over. I actually didn't expect anybody to send me a Stephen King book. I'm pretty sure Vin is eating boxes in the background. I can kind of hear her, but let's just keep going. Oh, wait, no! Actually, what I just opened is for a video and I didn't realize they would get here around the same time, so I'm not gonna show you quite yet. Okay, anyways, moving on, we've got a book depository one, and I don't know that I have anything on my wish list that is from Book Depository, so I'm pretty sure this was me. Oh wait, no, this was not me. Oh wait, I didn't realize this was from Book Depository. Now I have to figure out who got this for me, but this is the yellow wallpaper. Now, I watched Crimson Peak for the very first time, and I fell in love. The movie visually is stunning, Tom Hiddleston is stunning, and everything about the movie, it just very much enjoyed. It was just the right amount of escapism with the perfect amount of commentary that I needed on that given day. And so I fell into the pit holes of investigating which books sort of give those Crimson Peak vibes. Obviously within the gothic genre, and something that sort of pushes the question about whether something is happening supernaturally or if it's within the bounds of reality, and just a lot of messed up characters. And I've heard that the yellow wallpaper is actually like super messed up. One of my best friends, when I told her I was interested in this book, she was like, oh, that book is gonna fuck you up, Mel. And you know what? Kinda here for it. Which way am I supposed to open this? I think this has tape on it. I don't know why. I came prepared. Oh my god. I forgot this was in my bitch list. I saw this book and I knew it could have only been one person because only one person would smite me down like this. Of course, Han sent me Conversations with Friends. Have I hated every Sally Rooney book I have read? Yes. Do I think that Conversations with Friends could do it? I also think so. And here's my reasoning. Hear me out. A lot of people who have ranked Sally Rooney books from like best to worst or like most liked to least liked, typically Conversations with Friends always comes last. And so my train of thought is I've hated the other two that people typically rank 1 and 2. So this one has to hit, right? I feel like it's faulty logic, but I can hope. And this says, cracks knuckles. Here we go again. Feels wrong to give you this for such a happy occasion, but here we are. Happy birthday, Mel. Here's to a year where all your wildest wishes come true. And I do know that in this one, we follow Frances and Bobby, who are best friends, and they end up meeting a photographer in like an open mic poetry night situation. And as they befriend the photographer and her husband, Nick, I think there's like an entanglement happening between Frances and Nick that just leads to a lot of messiness. So listen, I'm kind of here for the mess, and like high-key the spine for Conversations with Friends, very pretty, very into it. Okay, moving on to the next one. Oh wait, this is fun. This better have a gift note inside the book because sometimes they get into the book. Does this not have anything? Oh wait, it does. And we have Ghost by Dolly Alderton. I have heard really, really great things about this one. Happy birthday, beautiful Mel. I hope the book gets to you in time and it's not lost this time. Thank you for everything you're doing for this community, and I hope you have a stunning day. Much love to you. Much love to you, Stefana. Thank you so much for sending this one over. I am actually quite excited to read this soon. And once more, the premise of this sounds super interesting, so I'm really hoping that the execution goes wonderfully along with a great synopsis. We follow Nina, who has sort of this dream life. She owns her own apartment. She's got a great relationship with her ex-boyfriend. She is publishing a new book, and then she signs up to a dating app. She meets this one guy who she is absolutely vibing with, and then everything goes awry when he ghosts her, and that propels her into really confronting and realizing a lot of the things that are happening in her life that are not as picture perfect as everything else she prefers to look at. And as somebody who has also done that several times in her life with the let me just distract myself with this or that, where if I focus my energy into this, I won't have to think about that or focus into that. I think there are some really cool themes in here that I sort of expect to read about, so we'll see how much that delivers. I'm trying to not hype myself too much for this one because every time I hype myself up too much, I generally leave disappointed, but I'm hoping for some good things. This is a thick one. I don't know. Oh my god, I don't know what this could be. What? Oh! Oh my god. Okay, I'm here for some toxic romance. Bring it on. This was sent by Miss Mel, and she says, happy birthday, Mel. I've wanted to read this for forever now, so I'll live vicariously through you. Hope you enjoy it. And that, ladies and gents, is Magnolia Parks. Now, I have heard really mixed things about this one. There are some people that absolutely love this, some people that absolutely hate this. Don't know where I'll personally fall on, but I think I've been pre-warned more than enough times to know what I'm getting myself into, and that is a very toxic moment. I can vibe with that if it's written well. I'm not sure about the ins and outs of the plot of this and the synopsis, but I do know we have a couple, and I think it'll deal a lot with the theme of how many loves can you potentially have in a lifetime, and how worth it is it to stay with somebody even though they're extremely toxic, regardless of how much you can love them. So I think that's sort of like the overall theme of the book, and then there's just like a bunch of drama mixed in. Listen, not too sure. I know it's like rich people drama, as far as my knowledge of this extends. We've got another book depository mystery, and I don't know if this is something I ordered myself or something that somebody sent, but we're about to find out because I did order River of Silver, but there's no way. Oh wait, it is this. Wait, it's this thin? But I did get River of Silver. Have I read City of Brass? No. Do I own all 3 books? Yes. Did I still buy this installment? Yes, which is a novella set in the world of the Daevabad trilogy. Also the foiling and the lettering, very here for it. And honestly, the reason why I got this is because this is the UK hardback, and if you guys know anything about the Daevabad trilogy, is that they had a first print run of the hardbacks in the UK, and then they never came back in stock, and now they're super rare to find, and people will literally resell those between that and the Fairloot copies for up to $1,500, which is absolutely crazy to me. So I made sure to snag this up real quick because I'm not about to go through that whole struggle. I'm still shocked about the length of that book. I thought it was gonna be like a fully fledged novel. I don't know why, even though I knew it was like a novella, but it's very thin. Anyways, next book we have is A Year in Tokyo, and I need to know who got me this because this doesn't have a note, and I'm actually super stoked to read this. This book is super interesting to me because I'd never heard of it before, and then I saw it on an Instagram post and it just sounded so amazing. This is essentially an illustrated travel guide mixed in with a memoir and exploring the experiences the author Christie had while she was abroad in Tokyo, with internships and culture shocks and language barriers and everything in between for a whole 13 months. And when you open the book, there's just like a bunch of cool stuff in it. So I'm actually super stoked to read this. I've never been to Japan, but I dream of doing that one day. And this just seems like a really cool thing to read, to be honest. So A Year in Tokyo. I'm actually so excited about this one. There's only one thing I ordered from Waterstones, and I will cry when I pull this out. I may also just cry because I have an eyelash in my eye, but that's unimportant. I cannot wait to see this in person. This better be as stunning as the website made it out to be. I can't even pull it out. There we go. I have been waiting for this book for such a long time because it hadn't released yet, and now it's in my hand. It's The Atlas Paradox by Olive Blake. You guys know I read and absolutely loved The Atlas 6, and so I of course had to get the sequel, but had to get the Waterstones edition because look at those edges. It's really the edges that sold me, and I'm also so glad that this is a white edition so that it can match my Fairloot one. So I am very excited about this book. Oh my god, it's got pen papers. Ooh. And the illustrations. Oh my god, let's see some of the illustrations in this one. Look at the illustrations. I am so excited to read this. I have to squeeze this in this month. I refuse to walk out of November without having read The Atlas Paradox. And I think this is the last of these Rippy packages. Rippy? As I don't, what do I call them? I don't know. I rip them apart. This is the last one we've got. I've been wanting to read this for such a long time. Happy birthday, Belle. Hope you enjoy this book. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Emily. So many people that I love on TikTok rave about this one, particularly Larry. Has so many amazing things to say about Archer's voice. Is this a single parent, or what's the deal with this? Is this the one that's a single parent? I can't remember. Hold up. Listen, let me not make shit up because I can't remember if it is or if it isn't. All I know is that the synopsis of this gives me the biggest Safe Haven vibes, and quite honestly, I love that movie with Josh Duhamel and Julianne Hough. I love that movie. Is that a basic thing to say? But just the heroine running away from a really terrible past and really seeking refuge, I guess, in this small town, and then meeting the hunky sexy dude. Listen, there's just something very particular about that appeals to me. I've never read it in a book format. At least I don't think I have, but every time I read the synopsis of this book, I just think about that movie. I love this. Also, after skipping a few months of my book of the month, I finally got a box. I don't get a box every single month, but whenever they have like an interesting like release or something, especially for their add-on, I do get a box myself. I can't remember what I got, so let's get it. The first one we have is Signed Here by Claudia Lux. Now this one just sounds super interesting. I think anything that is sort of set in hell and it's got like a deal with a demon devil entity. Don't ask me why that's so interesting to me. Maybe it's like my inner Scorpio loving the occult, just very stereotypically. Anything of the sort, particularly in book format, is really appealing. I will not watch that in a movie if it's too spooky, but for some reason in book format, I feel like it's a bit more digestible for me. So basically it's about a guy who works in hell, literally, and is on the cusp of a big promotion if only he can get one more member of the wealthy Harrison family to sell their soul. And high-key, that's super cool. I don't know that this is scary more than it is like a fantasy, or maybe it is supposed to be horror. Then we have The Most Likely Club, and honestly, honestly, it's the cover. The cover really did it for me for this one, but the premise of it also sounds really cool. I'm not too sure if this has alternating timelines, but I do know that part of the premise is it being a 1997, Titanic being a blockbuster, and all the 90s entail. And we follow a group of friends who won all the cool superlatives in their yearbook. However, flash forward 20 something years and nothing has gone according to plan. And so when they go to their high school reunion and they start drinking a little bit too much, they start reminiscing about the past and wondering if those things are still possible. And I am personally very guilty of reminiscing a lot and wondering how things could have been done differently for a different outcome, etc, etc. I'm naturally an overthinker, we know this, so I think this is going to hit a very particular spot and I'm really excited about it. And then we've got Writers and Lovers, which is another book I've heard really amazing things about. And the reason why this intrigued me so much is because I was in my feels, it was super late into the night, and I started looking up books that dealt with loneliness. I've talked about this before, but every now and again I am hit by just deep feelings of like loneliness, and it can be in the most random of moments. I can literally be sitting in a cafe just like surrounded by people and it suddenly just sort of hits me. And it was one of those nights where I was thinking and it just sort of hit once more, and I looked up books that dealt with loneliness and this one came up. I'm not sure exactly why, but I do know that we follow our main character in all of the facets of her life as she falls in love with two men and she is trying to follow the ambitions that she personally holds. And it tackles the themes of this sort of intersection between art and life and how much the two bleed into each other. And I think that in and of itself is so interesting. So I just decided to get this because I've heard really amazing things about it. Also, I've been obsessed with Safety Net by Ariana Grande lately. Don't ask me why, but every morning I wake up and I go, tripping, falling with no safety net. Anyways, diving into our first box here, let's see what we've got in here. Ooh, we've got gift wrap. Wait a minute. I always feel bad about the gift wrap just because it's like an extra cost. I will be saving the little note, but thank you so much. Hey Mel, happy birthday. I hope this book finds you well. I really enjoy Celia's writing. Oh, wait a minute. I also bought a copy for myself recently, but I haven't read it yet. Typical of me, of course. Happy birthday again and enjoy. From Jalen. Jalen! I know exactly which book this is because I'm pretty sure I only have one Silvia Moreno Garcia book in my wish list, and it's one that I'm super excited about reading, of course. Okay, yes, it's The Daughter of Dr. Morio. Now, if you guys know anything about me, I love Silvia Moreno Garcia's writing. Every single time I've read one of her books, it's just something that sticks with me, and it's something worth thinking about in the long run, just because the more you deconstruct her writing and the themes she tackles in her book, you can tell how complex her writing process is and how passionate she really is to establish these uncomfortable conversations that are very important to have. And I love that about her. And particularly as a Latina woman, I just think the way she tackles Latinidad and being a woman in this space and what that looks like in different time periods is just immensely fascinating, because although all of her heroines are incredibly strong, they still face a lot of adversity because of the world that we live in. And I know this will be no different, so I'm really, really excited about it. And it being a retelling of a gothic novel, a classic at that, I am personally super excited to see what she is going to do with the tale of Dr. Morio, which, if you guys don't know, is basically the story of a man who lived in an island and he performed experiments using humans with animals and Frankensteining it out, honestly. And so I can't wait to see what she does with the commentary aspect of it and also twisting it into a Latin tale. I'm so excited. And the color of the cover in person, we've got notes on an execution, and this was sent by Yaya, and Sil is very excited about it, apparently. Hi, Sil. This says, happiest of birthdays to the Queen of Booktube and good vibes. This is one of my top reads of this year, and I hope you enjoy it just as much. I don't know about the Queen of Booktube. I will take the good vibes though, but thank you very much. Ooh, it has deckled edges. Ooh, this is very sexy. I think I haven't bought a book in so long that has deckled edges, or if I have bought a book with deckled edges, it gets here and it doesn't have deckled edges, so that's quite exciting. Ooh, a gripping and atmospheric work of literary suspense that deconstructs the story of a serial killer on death row, and it is told primarily through the eyes of the women in his life. That actually sounds really, really good, and I've seen people rave about this one, so I can't wait to read it. I don't want to know anything else. I think it was really like the serial killer aspect of it told through the eyes of women that was so interesting, because typically serial killer stories are so male gaze, and a lot of the times the way it skews is not really my cup of tea in media in general, not only talking about books. So I'm really hoping that the female female gaze in this one will really turn it around, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm actually really excited about this one. This is one of the boxes that Vin has been chewing at for a long time. These boxes have been out in my living room. She actually unglued the whole thing. Oh, this is from Day. Happy birthday, Queen Mel. I'm so thankful for you and the lovely community you've created. Can't wait to see what amazing things you do during this next trip around the sun. Prepare to be fucked up by this book. I'm ready. I have been filming a thriller vlog for a while now. Because it's a genre I don't tend to read, but I own so many of them that I was just like, let me burn through some of them in my collection. And The Last Housewife was one that I was really excited to read in this vlog because I've heard really amazing things about it and the conversations about cults and everything. And it's supposed to be super campy, and Ashley Winstead just absolutely did it for me with In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. And so I was really excited to read this. Got the ebook. I literally paid $15 for this ebook. I got a super just like weirdly formatted copy. Has spaces, like double spacing in between paragraphs, a lot of grammatical errors, and the ebook doesn't look like that because I did check like the preview on Libby. So this is actually gonna come in quite handy so I can finish out that video because that put me off from reading the book. So Day, you don't know how much of a lifesaver you are. And listen, I don't know much about this, but this says, Shay Evans and her best friends met a captivating man who seduced them with a web of lies about the way the world works, bringing them under his thrall. Sounds like a cult. By senior year, Shay and her friend Laurel were the only ones who managed to escape. Now, 8 years later, Shay's built a new life, but when she hears the horrifying news of one of her friends' death, of all ways by her favorite true crime podcast crusader, she begins to suspect that the past she thought she buried is still very much alive. I'm here for a revenge party, a party that ends with somebody's head on a spike. Whoa, whoa. This one is actually quite heavy, which makes me think that I did buy this myself. Anyways, I told myself I was gonna splurge this year and buy a few books, and so I did buy more than a few books, but I'm excited. Very first thing is Fence Volume 5. This is Volume 5, right? Yes, Volume 5. I had no idea that there were gonna be more volumes in the graphic novel, and so I needed to get this because you guys know how much I love Fence. I genuinely thought it was only gonna be 4 volumes and then the novels that we do have, but apparently not. Listen, I don't understand the whole order from like graphic novel to novelization to graphic novel again. I don't get it, but I own all of them. I have heard nothing but amazing things about this one, and I have been told, hi Sil, again. I've been repeatedly told how good this book is and how much I need to read it, and that is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I decided to get it, and the premise of this is so messy that I need to see how this will play out because we follow our main character Emma as she gets married in her 20s. Life is perfect, love is perfect. Her husband passes away. She ends up meeting this dude that she can finally open up to. She's like, I can finally fall in love again, and then her dead husband shows up and is actually alive. This could either be a romance or a horror, whichever of the two, but I'm really excited to see what's up. The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. I can't remember if I actually got the first one or if I just got this one. Typically with romance series like this, I like to go in publication order even if they're not necessarily meant to be read that way because you can read them individually, but I do sort of like to read the first installment going into the sequel, so on and so forth. I haven't heard the best of things about the X-Hex. I was gonna say the X-Curse. No, the X-Hex. But I've heard really amazing things about the Kiss Curse, so I just decided to get this one. When their professional competition, because they both own stores, leads to a very personal and very hot kiss, both Wells and Gwen are determined to stay away from each other, convinced the kiss was just a magical fluke. But then something happens and they have to work together, and it's gonna be good. And it's gonna be bantery, hopefully, because that's what I love. Ordinary Monsters is another one I got, and honestly, there is nothing ordinary about the monstrous length of this book, but I love chunky books, especially if they're good. So I'm hoping this is a good one, and honestly, don't know much about this. I've heard sort of vague details about like the writing style is unlike anything people have read before. It's like super magical, it's super whimsical. Audiobook is really good, but overall, I don't know like the full premise. This is a really cool foiling also, like the detail. I don't know too much about this, and I'm trying to keep it that way because this is one of those books that for some reason I want to go into it knowing nothing, and I'm gonna keep it that way. You know what? Let's look at the first line. Let's spice this up. Ooh, okay, it's got an excerpt of something else, which I love when they've got these little things in fantasy books. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. Okay, wait, that's actually good. I literally need to leave in 30 minutes, so let's speed through this. And this was also me. This is so excessive. Don't make me, first of all, look that bad. And second of all, let's not waste this much cardboard on 4 books. GB. Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Don't know much about this except for the fact that Haley loved this from Haley Fam. And I was just like, you know what? Let me get this. Let me potentially love it. And the back says, Liz has always known that Wes Bennett was no boyfriend material. You would think that her next door neighbor would be a prime candidate for her romantic comedy fantasies, but Wes has only proven himself to be a pain in the butt ever since they were little. Flash forward 10 years, it's Liz's senior year, a time meant to be ripe with milestones perfect for any big screen, and she needs Wes's help. Ooh, are they gonna start recreating moments from movies? That'd be cute. Sirens and Muses is another one I got, and I have to say the cover of this really reminds me of Cleopatra and Frankenstein, so instantly the vibes were there. And all I know about this one is that we follow 4 different artists at a very elite school in New York. It's an art school, and they get into rivalries and love and entanglement. And it's also that same intersection that is in Writers and Lovers about art and life and how intrinsically tied to each other they are. But if those vibes are here, also will accept. This was influenced by Liv because I've never heard of this book before, but this is The Enigma of Room 622. Cover of this is just super cool, and I did see the foiling in the letters, and I was like, you know what? Let me get this because it looks super cool. So, a burnout writer's retreat at a fancy Swiss hotel is interrupted by a murder mystery in this metafictional, meticulously crafted whodunit. Oh, that sounds cool. And the only thing I really know about this is that the main character stays at room 622, but there is no room 622 in this hotel. So that in and of itself is like a whole mystery to solve. But when you add the murder mystery element to it, and then we've got a graphic novel, which is Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too. And I've been wanting to read this for a while. I've heard really amazing things about this. I have heard that it's like very deep, but very simple. It's got like some very straightforward illustrations, which I'm very much into as well. So I can't wait to give this a read and see if it's as amazing as people have claimed it to be. And we've got another heavy one, which I'm also wondering if it was me. All I'm saying is it could have been me. There's no reason for anybody to send me something this heavy. Stunning! First 2 important things, 10,000 Stitches and Long Shadow, which are the second and third book in the, what's the series called again? Regency Fairy Tales. I read Half a Soul last month and I absolutely adored it. It was just like the perfect, cozy, historical fantasy romance. It was just the perfect pick-me-up. It was so lighthearted, but still navigating some really interesting topics. And so I had to get the other 2 because I absolutely fell in love with like the world and the writing style and just the dynamic of the story I found to be so interesting because I've never really heard anything that's classified as a historical fantasy romance, but the author just really nailed it with these, and I love the length as well. It's just something that can be read very easily. I got the push because I've heard really amazing things about this one as well. One of my favorite things to watch, consume, read in media is mother-daughter relationship, and particularly in this one as a thriller. It's set to be super, super twisty, and last month I watched The Orphan with my Patreons, and one of them actually said that the movie reminded them of The Push. Not exactly sure why. I am really excited to find out because The Orphan is one of my favorite movies. So if this is in any way similar, not necessarily in like the premise, but like the themes, yes. Speaking of mothers, I did get Mother Thing. I've never heard anybody talk about this book, but I did see it in like the recommended section on Amazon when I added this to my cart, so I just decided to buy this one too. When Ralph and Abby Lamb move in with Ralph's mother, Laura, Abby hopes it's just what she and her mother-in-law need to finally connect. After a traumatic childhood, Abby is desperate for a mother figure, especially now that she and Ralph are trying to become parents themselves. However, it turns out that Laura, the mom, takes her own life and decides to haunt Abby and Ralph in very different ways. So very curious about these mothers and these books and what exactly they'll do. And also I did get the X-Hex. I was like, I'm pretty sure I bought this because again, I just like to go in publication order even if it's not necessary. And I had totally forgotten that Lore Olympus Volume 3 had released in October. So I also got Lore Olympus Volume 3 because Volume 2 was amazing, and I'm just realizing that this got here super beat up, and I know I'm not the only one because a lot of people were complaining about that. That's not good. And this has to be the Locked Tomb trilogy, which is Gideon the Ninth, Hera the Ninth, and Nona the Ninth. So I can't wait to see them in person because the mock-ups looked amazing. Okay, yes, this is what the spines look like, but the real moment, oh, they're so so pretty. I am in love. The real moment are the sprayed and stenciled edges. Like this is really the main reason why I got these, because I do own Gideon in like the regular edition, but I saw these and I saw the edges and I was like, I have to do this. But then also the naked books are really, really freaking stunning. And I was even wondering if I should just take off the dust jackets and leave them as is. There's even art on the reverse dust jacket. This is nice. Listen, Illumicrate always nails it with these special editions, so I'm not surprised at all at how pretty these are, but it's just a sight to behold. Oh my god, to see them in person. We've got more art in the back of the dust jacket. And then for the first one, I believe this is like a copper. This is honestly absolutely stunning. So I'm very, very excited and happy that I got these because this is just ridiculous. My camera ran out of battery, but we're back and we're here with the last package. I'm so excited about this. We've got the letter, which is just a thank you letter. We've got the Gilded Wolves trilogy by Roshani Shakshi. So we've got the Gilded Wolves, and I really don't know the order of this, but we've got the Gilded Wolves with these really stunning sprayed edges. And do we have, ooh, wait, it comes with a signed book plate. We've also got some really great end papers. There's nothing, okay, ooh, there's nothing in the back of the dust jacket, but we've got some really great customs everywhere else. This is just stunning. Illumicrate and Fairyloot is really where it's at if you guys want to get like special editions. Like it's really the only two places that I get them from. Then we've got the Silvered Serpents with some really great blue edges. We have got, again, some foiling in the hardback. We have got end papers as well. And then we've got the Bronze Beast, which again has a signed book plate. We've got more foiling in the hardcover, end paper here, end paper at the back. And yes, you guys, that's everything I've got for you today. That is the birthday book haul unboxing moment. Thank you for everybody who sent something over. You guys definitely didn't have to, but it is very much appreciated. Super excited about the new stack of books to add to the library, to add to my collection, to the TBR, to all of it. So I will definitely keep you guys updated whenever I do read these books. You guys know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a massive thumbs up down below and comment down below if you've read any of these books, if you're looking forward to reading any of these books, what your opinions were, and if you've hauled anything recently yourself, do let a girl know. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't done so already. I'm constantly uploading videos I'm sure you do not want to miss. And if you want to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon. It is always linked down below alongside all of my socials. I love you all so, so much, and I shall see you on the next one. Bye!